Now, Professor Tinyiko Maluleke has been appointed as the co-chair of the eminent persons group responsible for guiding the national dialogue. He will be sharing the role with former politician Roelf Meyer. Former MP Lindiwe Mazibuko and scientist, energy engineering expert and entrepreneur Siyabulela Xuza have been appointed as deputy chairs, while Nombendulo Mkhatshwa, who currently serves in the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities Committee, will serve as the secretary. Prof Maluleke joins us live now this evening to discuss this further. Prof, good evening to you. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your time. What's the first order of business?
Well, the first order of business is 15th August, when the National Convention takes place. Of course, in between then and now, there is a lot of spade work to be done. Fortunately, that spade work is not necessarily going to be done by the eminent persons group. It will be done by the preparatory committee and the foundations which have been seized with this matter since last year. But in a way of speaking, yes, the National Convention will be the first order of business, because once we have had that, then the national dialogue proper will begin.
So when it comes to, of course, a dialogue, there are some concerns, one being the fact that how do you ensure that all South Africans do participate?
It's a very valid concern, because one of the most important principles of this national dialogue is inclusivity. We have to do everything in our power as a nation and as a grouping that is tasked with this, to ensure that everyone is represented. Now, that means that we will have to use multiple means of engagement, online as well as physical, ward level engagements, provincial level engagements, group level engagements, and allow individuals to make submissions online. So these mechanisms are being worked out now, but it is not negotiable that it becomes inclusive.
So what are you then, what are you hoping to get from South Africans? I know the President has said his bit about what he's hoping to achieve, but what are yourselves, the group that is the eminent persons group, the working group, everyone else, what do you want to see at the end of all of this?
Well, at the end of all this, we would like to have some consensus about the challenges that we face as a country. We would like to put on the table all the loss of hope, the cynicism that is growing in the country, the despair that is covering everyone, the problems that we have that are economic and practical and service delivery related, so that we come to an understanding to face them head on, and then to say, what future do we want to shape for ourselves as a country going forward? What is the shared vision of that future that we have as a community for the next 30 years? How would we like South Africa to look like? And this time around, not merely to dream and tell stories about the future, but to think about actionable steps that must be taken and implemented in order to change the trajectory that the country finds itself in at the moment.
Yeah, you speak about cynicism and despair. There have been others who say that this is a waste of money. The problems of this country are well known. And then when you speak about the next 30 years, for example, some are saying that at the end of the day, they don't even understand why there needs to be that vision now, when in your other capacity, you are with the National Planning Commission, the targets of the, the 2030 vision, that blueprint that we have as South Africa, NDP, those are still, in some cases, afar off. So some people are saying that, in fact, in a country where the problems are known, this is a waste of money. How do you contend with that?
I understand the cynicism that has set on in various communities, and I understand completely why people doubt not just this process. I think we have reached a stage where people doubt every little attempt that is being made because they have been disappointed so many times. But to say we know the problems of the country is one of the most dangerous statements to make. It is usually the elite, those like you and I, who are able to say we know the problems. But do we really know the problems of the country? I don't think we do, because we don't know what it means to live for 5 years without water in your community. We don't know what it means to live without electricity since 2010. And there are communities that have been living like that for a long time. I mean, we talk about load shedding. They don't know load shedding because they can't have load shedding. So let's not assume that we know. Rather, let us allow the populace and the community to speak. There is always value in dialogue. We know that as a country. And so I think we don't want to preclude by saying we know, because we know what affects us and we know partially, but we don't know fully. That's why this must be a citizens-led process and not an elite or even a government-led process.
So what I'm hearing you say is give us a chance?
Yes. No, I'm saying let's give ourselves a chance. And this is part of the problem. Until now, South Africans have tended to sit back and say, government is not doing this, government must do this, government ought to do this. We are in charge of this country. It belongs to us. And this is an opportunity to give ourselves a chance to speak in a manner that no government can ignore, so that as we go forward as citizens, we become active and we take charge of the affairs of our country. That's the chance we are asking for. It's not give us a chance as a small group to sit in a smoke-filled room to talk to ourselves about the future of the country. That's not what we want. We would like to invite South Africans to be part of this.
And for just a quick one, because even the minister was speaking about this yesterday, but it wasn't clear in terms of the details, because you do have others who are saying that where do they register, how do they begin, especially those who want to partake online, or even when it comes to the ward level engagements and all of that, how then are they going to be getting this information to be part of this?
So one of the things we were told by the preparatory task team when we met with them as the eminent persons group is that work is underway to establish a website which will be available soon, accessible soon, and people will be able to go on the website to access the relevant pages to register, to lodge their own ideas about the national dialogue. At the moment, NEDLAC is the secretariat of the national dialogue, and that is the facilitator, if you like, the link between the community and the national dialogue process. But in time, we will have a national dialogue process website. The national dialogue, you spoke about funding and a waste of money. In fact, the national dialogue does not have a process, does not have that much funding at the moment. We have been relying until now on donors. And so it's not as if there is a lot of money out there, but we know that there's a lot of despair, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of hopelessness out there. And that's what we want to harness for good, so that we can produce a better South Africa in the next few years.
Prof, appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much for talking to us. That was Professor Tinyiko Maluleke, the co-chair of the Eminent Persons Group responsible for guiding the National Dialogue. He's also the Vice-Chancellor at the Tshwane University of Technology.